to impress. Okay, so I know you're like, oh my gosh, because everybody's talking about all this stuff about Roblox and yada, yada, yada. But as someone who actively uses Roblox as a way to build confidence in my students, I can tell you, and don't just take my word for it, look at the reviews. Myself and the parents can tell you that it actually is a really great tool. Now, don't throw the baby away with the bathwater, because at the end of the day, are there creeps on Roblox? Absolutely. Okay, do we have to make sure that we are keeping our children safe on Roblox? Absolutely. But Roblox, Dress to Impress specifically, is actually a really great way to develop public speaking skills in your children. Now, as someone who does that every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, because I don't have Dress to Impress Club on Fridays and I don't have Club Period on Wednesdays, but it works so well. So for example, the easiest way I can tell you this is there's this mode you can play on called free play mode. And in free play mode, basically it's not timed, so you can take as long as you want on your outfit. There's no set theme, so you can decide what the themes are. And to make it even better, you can actually announce the theme. The girls really, and boys, they really love to announce their themes and things like that. And on top of that, you get to have judges. So the way that we practice public speaking specifically and critical thinking skills on this level, and being able to articulate your ideas and your thought process, is once we have our judges selected, and typically I'm one of the judges, that's just how we do things. And sometimes I'm not the judge, and that's a whole nother story, because they tell me to vote honestly, but when I actually do vote honestly, then their feelings get hurt. So I typically just give 10s. I just say 10 because you did wonderful, and I'd rather them be annoyed with me because I gave them a 10 than them be upset because they got my honest opinion, which was a 5, because that happened and she was not happy. So I won't do that again. I'm learning too. But anyway, so in free play mode, the children are the judges. We have the kids walking down the aisle. Now, each child goes down the runway as an individual. Sometimes they'll do duos, whatever, trios, whatever. But when they're up there, we ask them, hey, what made you pick this outfit? Then that gives the child an opportunity in front of their peers on a virtual space, so they're still safe, they still feeling comfortable, we're having fun, we're cracking jokes the whole time. They already feel like, oh wow, these are my people, you know what I'm saying? So when it's their turn to speak on, when it's their turn to speak, they are excited. They're like, oh my gosh, or sometimes shy. It depends on what's going on. But they'll be like, okay, well, I picked this outfit because whatever the reasoning is. And then I'll ask the judges, all right, judge such and such, do you have any questions for our participant or for the model? They'll say yes or no. They'll either ask their question or they say, no, I don't have any questions. And then I'll ask the next judge, hey, judge, what do you think about such and such's outfit choice? And they'll either say, oh my gosh, slay, like you ate, or they'll be like, girl, you got ate up. Where are your shoes at? Your dogs are out. That's the thing we be saying, like, your dogs are out, girl. You don't have no shoes on, honey. What happened, honey? And, the children just love it. And it's one of those things where it's a perfect example of how we together, because it takes a village to raise a child, and this is a virtual village, how together we can help guide your child into the confident self when they don't even realize it's happening. Because this is something that you can do in your day-to-day life. Like, if your child loves playing Dress to Impress, you can actually be like, hey, let's play free play mode. And then you can ask them questions. Why did you pick this outfit? Why did you put that belt with this? What made you choose those colors? Because what you're actually doing is helping their mind formulate answers. You're helping their mind formulate the answer to questions so they'll be sharper. Like when these videos, for example, I don't edit because I don't need to. You know why? Because my mama talked to me and asked me questions. and was engaging with me. So I can be sharp, spearheaded, because I've practiced it. So the more questions that you ask your child while you're playing, not from a space of why would you pick the outfit together, but like, girl, okay, I see you in the red. I see you red dress. Why'd you pick that? Okay, tell us about this outfit. Okay, so cute. Slay. The kids, you gotta say, oh, you ate, or oh, slay, because the children love that. So when you get to their level, then you can really plant those seeds. And that's when they're not even realizing it. That's when the leader in them starts to come out, because people like to say not everybody can be a leader, but I don't agree. Everybody can be a leader. Everyone can learn how to lead themselves. You might not be leading, I don't know, like the whole planet, but whatever. But you can still serve your role. You can still lead as your person. You know what I'm saying? And so Dress to Impress actually actively teaches public speaking, because it gives children an opportunity to practice public speaking. And you have to remember, on these games, like, the way that children see the world is different from the way that we see it. So they are actively talking, sharing their ideas, why they decided to do something, and they are telling a group of people who could potentially judge them, who could potentially laugh at them, but they're having the courage to speak and share what they feel like is important, and share their opinion. And sometimes someone will agree, sometimes someone won't, but they're practicing that. Then from the judge's standpoint, you'll notice, I notice, the parents notice that the longer a child is on the judge side as well, they're thinking about questions. They start to get into it, and sometimes, like, because I talk fast, obviously, sometimes before I even get to ask my question, they'll jump in and be like, oh, can you, why did you do this? What about this? And they'll get up from their chair, from the judging podium, and say, I got to get closer. I got to get a closer look at your outfit. Like, they take this game so seriously, and I love that for us. And so because they take the game seriously, I'm able to, like, really carve back and get to, like, the root of who they are as people, and then build them up from there. And then it's fun. And we're playing Roblox, and in free play mode, we're in my private server where only the students are there. So then that adds another layer of safety. Now, sometimes we do play in the public server, but we're always together and no man left behind and all that yada yada. But typically we are playing in my private server, which means it's literally just me and the students. That's it. Occasionally, other students will try to jump in, and sometimes I have to be like, hey, get out of here. This is not your club time, because I don't believe in playing games with students when I'm not in club with them, because that's kind of weird. So if they join me, I can't control that, but I will be like, all right, it's not your time. Hi, hello, but we are having club right now. So, and they're like, can you come play this with me? No, sorry, I can't do that. I will not be joining you in your other game, but thank you, though. I hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you next week. Click type thing. But it's so rewarding to see, because I have never, knock on wood, I have never had a child be like, no, I don't want to share why I picked my outfit. Because you know what? Those children, like, they might not want to say it, but they'll still type it. And that's one step closer, because I have a student. I'm not going to put anybody's business out there, because you will never even catch me post a photo of any of my students. The children on my Instagram that did my book reviews, that was from a paid thing. Okay. You will never see me post my students on the internet, ever. That's just not my thing. Anyway, so I have this one student, and this particular student is on the spectrum to the point where you can actually hear it in this student's voice, right? I got club in like an hour, so I actually have my first winter camp this week, so I'm super excited about that. It's actually starting soon, so I'm like, anyway. So this particular student, you can hear from this particular student's voice that this particular student is autistic, right? Or on the spectrum or something. And so this particular student, when they first started coming to my clubs and things, would barely type. Okay, so I'm like, oh, hey, I'm just gonna call this person Sarah because this is not Sarah. So I don't even have any students named Sarah, so this is a good one. So I'm like, Sarah, can you share something about your outfit? And Sarah would put like something in the chat, maybe. But you know what? Engaging is engaging, and I believe that you have to meet children where they are. You can't force them. So I'm like, cool, that's fine. Engage how you engage. Then I started noticing that with children that type, when I type back to them, they felt more included. So as I'm going through this journey of determining what the heck this gaming clubs even are really, while I'm discovering, what I'm doing, because this is, I don't even know if I'm considering myself a confidence coach. I started out teaching Zumba and hair care classes on this platform. Like, this turned into gaming. This didn't start here. This evolved to this. So what ended up happening was like different students, like I have guys and girls, whatever, and when I chat back to them, they will feel more included in the experience, and it's wonderful. So this particular student, I started chatting back, and I noticed, okay, this makes this student feel more seen. So I started doing that with other students as well. If I notice there's one that chats, then I'll actively chat, or I'll talk to them while, like, in response to what they're typing, because sometimes it's a lot to pay attention to. Like, I gotta pay attention to this screen and that screen and this and that. So it's like juggling, but I got it. I'm like, whoo, 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 another one, whoo, 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 another one, whoo, 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 another one. Like, that's me for real. So anyway, then all of a sudden, it was one time, it was just me and this student, and this particular student gets on there and says, hey. And I said, what? I said, oh, hi. And like, because I've been working with a student for months, okay? And there was just this one particular time we happened to be in club that was just us two. We just happened to be there. And said, hey. And I was like, because I was nervous also, because this is still new for me. So, and granted, even this business, everything is still new. So as it's growing, there are times where I'm like, oh man, like, it's just me and this student today. Like, I wonder how that's going to work. And I be getting nervous, like, okay, well, da-da-da. But it worked out. So it was really cool. So anyway, so then this particular student proceeds to show their whole personality this day. Like, it went from typing to all of a sudden, like belly laughs. And now, because this student had, after that, I noticed when other students join, this child now talks in front of everyone. And I'm gonna cry again, because this is so special. Oh God. Because like, I started crying even when the child said hi. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, it took everything in me not to like bust out crying just at that moment, because I know, other stuff. So then this particular student now is like the most talkative, and doesn't matter who's there. Just talk, and hilarious. And so that is why I know that this stuff works. Why? Because I see it. Now, do the reviews help from the now 30 plus 5-star reviews from parents? Absolutely. And this is a platform where you absolutely cannot fake reviews, unlike other platforms. So, does that show you? Yes. But when I've been working with a student and we're playing games, like one 45-minute meeting a week, this is insane to me. Because it, like, in my mind, sometimes, you always be wondering, like, am I doing enough? Like, is this even making a difference? And so I got to see firsthand, because I still work with this student, so I get to see the student, like, all the time. Thank goodness, And though I got to see that, I got to see going from barely typing in the chat to being the center talkative child to literally cracking jokes and making everybody laugh. And I know that that space was created because of this club and because of this game and because of me. Like, let's keep it real, you know? Shoot. But for real, like, it's so it's so soul lifting to be in this position where I know every single day that I am making a difference in children's lives. I know that. I go to bed full knowing that I've done everything I wanted to do today. And that's because of Dress to Impress. Because of this game. So this club I've created, literally I can see with my own eyes that the children are growing into themselves. The children are growing into their personalities, and they are actively practicing public speaking from a game in the comfort of their home. And don't get me started about social skills, but that's another video, child, for another day. Yeah, this is lemon and cayenne pepper water, okay? Y'all who know, y'all know. Anyway, I will say there are limited spots available, okay? Because there are no more than 7 spots per club. So, if you want your child in, do not delay, because there is no guarantee that that spot will be available when you come back. And I can't do nothing about that. You know, I might open more clubs because, you know, who knows what can happen? Who knows what the future holds? But literally, there are only 7 spots available per club. Okay? I have Dress to Impress clubs on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. I have children from all over the world. That's why it's a beautiful thing that it's virtual. Believe it or not, the second most popular country where my students are from is Australia. And one of the girls, she had us believing that there are koala bears called jump bears. That's why I do so good with children, because I'm a big child. She had us believing that there are things called drop bears that literally jump off out of the sky onto you, and everybody in Australia has to carry umbrellas. The girl is she's very believable, because even I was like, wait a minute. Like, at first I thought you were joking, but now I'm concerned. Like, no one ever told me about drop bears. Like, I already knew that y'all had spiders that eat dogs. Like, what are you saying? What are you saying? But anyway, so yeah, I have students from literally all over the world. And so this is important stuff we're doing. And that's why I think it's so important as well, because not only are these children getting to practice their public speaking skills, but they're interacting with people from the entire planet. This is insanity. It's so cool. And I created it. So, and again, the clubs are just one part of the full ecosystem that I've created to help keep your children safe on the internet and in the digital space. Why? Because confident children become capable adults, and also because there's a war on childhood innocence, and we're fighting back. Boom, boom, boom. Remember, I'm Coach Yana, and I don't remember how I close these videos out, so I'm just going to say, and I approve this message. Your child is playing Dress to Impress for hours, and then you start to think to yourself, is this too much screen time? Are they safe? Are they talking and chatting with strangers? Why can't they just go outside and play? Are they making real friends? Is this even healthy? Should I take the game away? But I can't, because then they'll be devastated and be upset. So what the heck do I do? Well, first thing, you need to just and breathe. I'm Coach Yana, and I'm a children's confidence coach, and I actually do have the answers to your many questions and concerns. In my Dress to Impress gaming clubs, I'm actually there playing with your child in small groups of no more than 7 students. And while we're playing, I'm actively coaching them on how to make decisions, how to express themselves out loud. They're also learning how to handle feedback gracefully, as well as, of course, internet safety. All of these naturally help children practice real skills that they can use in the real world as well, ultimately helping them develop real, lasting confidence. They're also learning what not to share online. People, this is confidence coaching in real time. These skills are transferable, showing up in school, showing up in real friendships, and in life in general. This is not time wasted in the video game. This is confidence growing in real time. In as little as 4 to 8 weeks, you will start to notice real change in your child. So, with that being said, scroll down, read the reviews, and enroll today. As we all know, it takes a village to raise a child, so allow me to be a part of your virtual village.